To me, this is still a fascinating. I mean, the post-mortem of this whole thing is remarkable. There's new stuff that comes out every day. You go out into the real world, a lot of people are talking about this. You can't escape this damn thing. Neighbor girl came over the other day to play with the kids. They're talking about Ocean Gate. Go to my in-laws after we went golfing Saturday. They're talking about Ocean Gate. Go over to the neighbors to have a couple beers and the kids are playing. They're talking about Ocean Gate. It's just a fascinating story. I mean, on one hand, it's the Titanic, and people have a weird boner for Titanic. April was so moved by all this Ocean Gate stuff. Her and the kids, with her fast-forwarding through any inappropriate parts, watched the movie Titanic. I can't watch that shit.
It's okay.
I really have a hard... Just that movie is so... it's such chick bait. It's remarkable. I mean, I was telling April in the car, I'm like, you know what really takes me out of that movie? She's like, what? I'm like, the fact that she met this guy, knew him for 36 to 48 hours, and she was like, oh, he's the love of my life. And I'm like, meanwhile, he is the guy with neck tattoos and a motorcycle that will end up hitting and beating. He was a drinking, gambling, ruffian, poor person. That guy wasn't
even supposed to be on that boat.
No, he was going to drink and gamble away any money you had. You guys were going to end up in an abusive relationship. That does not end well. The fact that ended with the Titanic sinking meant you guys could hang on to what might have been versus seeing the sad reality of what was with that guy. Mm-hmm. First of all, she came onto that boat remarkably mentally ill. I mean, she's ready to jump off a fucking cruise ship. You don't just fix that with a naked picture and some dickin'. At least not the way I give it. So I have problems.
Yeah, but as we understand, you're not exactly the patron saint of dick giving.
I get it. So I understand. But as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to the movie Titanic, and look, it would have not drawn as much money if I would have, jumped in and made my view, heard and then done. But as far as the movie Titanic goes, for me, my personal watching is this fucking gay love story got in the way of my tragedy movie. I want to see, you know what I want to see? I want to see fucking Lancelot from King Arthur running around trying to figure this shit out, putting out fires. Jan Griffiths. I want to see Jan Griffiths and his character running around with the captain and the guy who created the ship, and they're like, oh, fuck me, how did this happen? So on and so forth. But then I got this girl who's like, oh, the multimillionaire wants to take me away from my family's newfound poverty, but he doesn't treat me very nice. Well, I'm sure he'll have a pool. There's probably a Hispanic kid you can fuck if you don't like the millionaire thing and the way he treats you. And then, It
was Billy Zane. I mean, that's a stretch.
Yeah, you're going to leave Billy Zane, you bitch? Billy Zane, who was the smart guy who got off the boat? Billy Zane. Where'd Leo DiCaprio's heart get him? Frozen to the ocean floor.
Yeah,
probably not even. He got eaten by fish on the way down.
That was my biggest problem with the movie and why people don't like watching it with me. I can't resist the urge at the end of the movie. I always end up screaming, kick the bitch off the door. Like I'm just.
Yeah, exactly. 48 hours they knew each other and it's just, I was telling April, I was like, the highest grossing movie of all time will always be one that plays to women's delusions. Because women love to satiate their delusion. I mean, just like men do with superhero movies and, shit like that. I get it. I understand. We both.
Yeah, but we only need to watch it once.
Yeah, they go, well, come on, comic book nerds. Look, superhero movies are to men what romance movies are to women. I mean,
I don't know. I feel like if you go in on a superhero movie as hard as women go in on romance movies, are you a man?
Good point. Probably not.
Because I love superhero movies. I'm a huge Deadpool fan, but I can't think of one superhero movie where I saw it in the theaters. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to come back and see that again. No. I always see it once in the theaters. And I'm like, oh, great. I can't wait till I get that on DVD.
Yeah. Also, another problem I have with Titanic. We know his name is Jack and we know his name is Rose. Not everyone has to say it 500 fucking times in the movie. Please let that be a break glass moment that now you'll notice it. Go back and watch Titanic. They say each other's names so fucking much. It drives me insane. Also, on another note, 48 hours. And she finds some bum, some poverty-stricken mutt who didn't even go through a delousing check. He's probably got nits. And then, I fell in love with him, and he's the most amazing guy ever. What about fucking Fabrizio or his fucking Italian buddy? Maybe that guy was good, too. She was hanging out with the poor people, and she was observing them as though they were bunny rabbits on a walking trail. She's like, oh, is this what you poors do? This is absolutely delightful. Guess what, honey? You're going to get tired of that shit when this boat reaches the mainland, and this is all he's doing every fucking night, leaving you at home with 3 kids that financially there's no way you can support, but he keeps pumping it into you anyway. And then he comes home smelling like booze and perfume, and you're going to ask him where he's been all night, and you're going to check his drawing book and see more naked ladies in there, and that's how he got you, and you're going to slap the shit out of him. Then he's going to hit you back. Billy Zane wouldn't have done any of this shit to you.
He would have hit you, but I mean...
And he would have paid his mistresses to have abortions. That's the nice thing about a guy like Billy Zane. And then that old cunt at the end of the movie. Listen, I did spy on Titanic a little bit while they were watching it, I will admit. That old cunt throws that fucking jewel in the water. They should have thrown her ass overboard. Somebody should have caught her throwing that jewel in the water, and like the Royal Rumble, they should have grabbed her by the scruff of her neck and the hem of her jeans and just over you go into the water. You know how expensive that fucking diamond was?
Yeah.
And then Bill Paxton doing
He's had it this whole time.
Yeah, and then Bill Paxton, who's doing his best Timothy Oliphant impression for some reason. I mean, they seemed identical in that movie. He's been looking for that goddamn diamond forever. You're about to rot and die, and then you just throw it in the water. You bitch.
But it's the heart of the ocean. It belongs in the ocean.
No, it belongs in...
But my heart will go on, goddammit.
God. Play to women's delusions, you'll make a fortune. Oh, no, see, it was true love. It was horny teenagers fucking on a cruise ship. It happens on literally every cruise ship. This story
was true love. Did she see him shit?
Then it's not.
Did she fart in front of him? I ask you.
Yeah.
We saw her put her hand up on the steamed car window in a lustful expression, but I didn't hear a burnt right afterwards.
Hey, Leo. You think that relationship would have worked out if that ship wouldn't have sailed? You got a preview of what that relationship would have been like when that bitch didn't even help you get on that door. So you think this would have been a dream relationship? No, because when push came to shove, the rich bitch saved herself. She watched you slip into the icy waters of the North Atlantic.
But I mean, she did come back to rescue him when he was cuffed there. Why didn't she save herself then? That's weird. It's like she's irrational.
I don't like those two. They ruined Titanic for me.
The lead character?
Yes. It was a great movie. Other than
Until
the fucking...
these fucks showed up.
Yeah, the fucking love story. Because I like...
Why couldn't we have followed the fucking musicians around the whole time? Those guys seem cool. They seem like they have fun. And then when all hell breaks loose, they're just like, hey, man, it's been an honor. And they just fucking whip out and keep going.
Yeah. You got Jan Griffiths. You got Lancelot from King Arthur. You've got the fucking gay theater guy from Tombstone and Billy Zane. You've got Professor Jordan Perry from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 in there, kicking ass, doing a great job. And you don't utilize these people? You do a gay fucking love story that makes zero sense and nobody's fooled by except everybody who watches the fucking movie? Yes, Johnny, the love story and the two main actors took me out of the movie. And also, Kate Winslet, take it or leave it. I don't like Titanic. I like Titanic. But I don't like the reason why it was made. I like the destruction part. It's fun.
I like seeing hundreds of people scream as they're about to suffer a cold, frozen, watery death.
One thing they do capture very well in that movie is how fucking terrifying it must have been to be on that boat. The helplessness. Oh, sounds awful. Thank God I wasn't there, huh? Whew. People got fucked over. Hobo chili recipe with $4.99. It says message retracted. I don't know what he was trying to say, unfortunately. People are really enjoying the Titanic rant. I'll keep it going, I guess, for you. Billy Zane was one of Biff's ruffians. Really? In Back to the Future Part 2?
Holy shit.
Or 1? I don't know. Carlos wants us to F8 this segment. I think I am. It's going to be part of our Titan segment. I just got off on a bit of a rant. Sorry. Jake says that poor dude she was with, too. Yeah, fucking Billy Zane gets cheated on when all he did was like, hey, I'm a multi... Okay, let's play this angle, Johnny. Let's go to the Billy Zane part of Titanic. Billy Zane, check this. He's the good guy.
He's not the bad guy.
Billy Zane is the protagonist. Ready? Billy Zane is the protagonist in Titanic. He was a millionaire prick before the boat. He's a millionaire prick on the boat. He never changed. She knew what she was getting into. She knew what kind of man she had. So to play this babe in the woods routine of, oh, I'm just this trapped little girl. It's millions, you bitch. Learn how to adjust.
Her family was pushing her into that. She didn't ask him out. I mean, it was kind of she was forced into it to make family money. She was the sacrificial cow. She was being sold.
That's fine. But you know what? One of the first questions she asks Leo 6 months into their relationship, if that ship makes port, why don't we have a bigger apartment? Am I wrong?
Yeah, because you're assuming that relationship lasts 6 months.
That's true. The first time he socks her in the eye, although she's gone with a relationship she didn't like before. You think a drunk gambling artist is a mentally stable person?
She's not leaving him. You're mishearing me. She's not leaving him. He's not staying with her.
Oh, okay.
I mean, this guy literally, at a moment's notice, picked up and jumped on a boat bound for another country because he's like, fuck it, let's go. This guy doesn't really have what you would call a plan or any sort of like roots or any need to build. He's going to just keep roving around like the lone wolf he is. That chick ain't following him.
Billy Zane's the heel, Billy Zane's the baby face, Leo's the heel. I'm going to stay on this vein here. Billy Zane, multimillionaire, providing for this woman, giving her a better life she could ever have on her own. Buys her first-class tickets on the fucking Titanic, the most state-of-the-art ocean liner in the world, to take her over to America to enjoy their millions and marry her. She's beneath him. He doesn't need to marry her. He's doing her a favor. And what does this bitch fall for? The drunk gambling artist who clearly uses the titty pictures to pick up women, pick up susceptible, suicidal women. Remember, he met her as she was trying to end it all. And then he uses that to get in her pants, shows her the naked pictures because he's a mysterious artist, and she's like, ooh, I want you to draw me because I have low self-esteem, clearly tried to jump off the ship, and I want to see my own titties in a picture so I can feel better about myself. And Leo took advantage of her. She was in a vulnerable state, and he used her to get her naked and have sex with her in a car.
And that's why I love him.
God bless him. But it's a shitheel move. God bless the shitheels. Billy Zane was the babyface. And yeah, he planted a crime.
Did he even cheat on her? Like,
no.
He didn't do anything like that. I'm just trying to think. Now that I'm thinking about it, she was the one who instigated everything. I mean, didn't he only kind of become more of a dick when she started having this need to hang out with the lowly guy from the lower decks?
Yes.
And he started being like, hey, this dude's sniffing around my trim. I don't like this.
Exactly. She kind of started this whole feud and thing. She stirred up all the shit and then went, what? When the shit hit the fan. Oh, man. Billy Zane was the good guy in that movie.
I have to say, except for the whole claiming to be a kid's parent to save his life, I'm all right with Billy Zane's character.
The man was in trouble and he needed to survive. And the kid's parents weren't around.
Yeah, but does he keep that kid after he gets off the
No, of course not. The kid's a fucking burden. I mean, Billy Zane's trying to live, for God's sake. He has something to live for. Bill Paxton got killed by Terminator and Predator. He was awesome. He was first Timothy Oliphant. J-Dub Productions says in those old Phantom comics, he went on a lot of boats with Devil. We're going to things we don't need to go to. Dub says many believe if after the impact the Titanic had stopped moving, it would have remained afloat. The fact that they kept steaming forward allegedly forced water in more rapidly. Well, perhaps we will never know. J-Dub Production says, yes, a 90-minute Titan action movie focusing on Zane, the Chad, would have been a better choice. Fuck yeah. He deserved to get laid on that boat, too. All the shit his girl was putting him through, trying to kill herself on the boat and shit. Fuck Billy Zane. Your hatred of this movie is deep, says fucking Phillips. Deeper than I thought it would be. Yes. Delco Lou says, Rose's selfishness on the door at the end ruins it for me. They could have fit. You know what? I actually, now that I think about it, I like that part. Because it shows who she really is.
The door. It didn't work.
They tried one time. And then didn't try again. But she loves him. He's her one true love. But oops-a-daisy, couldn't get you up the first time. Well,
I'll never let you go. Bye.
Yeah, until it's time to save my own ass. At least we got to see her being honest at the end of the movie. Because she went on and remarried and had kids and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So she moved on. So at any rate, yes. I did not enjoy the movie. And it annoys me.
And I will say this, one reason that the two of them couldn't fit on that boat is because she was weighed down with that giant fucking necklace she stole. By the way, we keep forgetting that she committed a major theft right at the end of that movie. Oh, this guy is taking me across the ocean, but before I bail on him, because she didn't know the boat was going down at the time, before I bail on him, I'm going to leave him a naughty picture of me that my new boyfriend drew, which is kind of a tuck in and of itself.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to take his diamond.
Holy shit, you're right. I forgot about that part. She cucked the fuck out of Billy Zane, who was never unfaithful to her. He was just a rich guy who liked doing rich guy shit. And she's like, well, he didn't seem like he loved me enough. Guess what, bitch? That's what the money is for.
Did not take any work to push you on this. I want to.
Oh, my, thank you. Yes, you're right. And Lemmy's right. He saved that child. Billy Zane saved a child. Although I think wasn't the child's boat still tied to the Titanic? And it didn't get loose. Did that child end up dying, or did he?
No. They were fine.
He saved a child. Billy Zane and Leo DiCaprio saved the same amount of lives. Technically, Billy Zane wins because he saved two. He saved the kid's life and his own. Billy Zane was the alpha male. He was the stronger man in this situation. Billy Zane was the babyface in Titanic. He was a good man who got railroaded. And you're right. She steals his multi-million-dollar diamond, so she commits grand larceny. And then you're right, leaves the naked picture in the safe for him to find so she can cuck him up when he's done nothing wrong. I'm sorry, Johnny. I'm sorry I'm not sorry. As a matter of fact. Catsnap Karen says, wow, I need to watch the Titanic again. A whole new perspective. Yes. Thank you. Scarface says, I 100% agree with this take. I've had this argument with every one of my girlfriends over the years. Don't. It'll end with a fight. Because women don't understand the reality of that movie, which is Leo's a fucking little wormy. You know who Leo is? He's that little beta guy who holds the girl's hair back while she's puking at a party, but he's squeezing her tit and trying to finger her. He takes the sad, depressed, lonely chick and uses it so he can see her naked and fuck her. And then at the end leaves her. He fucked her and ditched. And you might say, look at the life he was living. Is that living? He didn't have a plan.
He didn't have a plan. Ironically, though, she did. Because, again, they were going to live off of the diamond money.
Right. So they were going to steal from Billy Zane.
Right. Billy Zane was going to give them their whole new life.
They were thieves. They were thieves. They were thieves and hustlers and swindlers. They were thieves. You know who you know who's my baby face in that movie? You know who rules? Kathy Bates. The unsinkable Molly Brown, who, by the way, they never called her Molly. Her name was Maggie. They called her Maggie. Nobody ever called her Molly. Stop it. Don't James Cameron, stop focusing on your gay love story and get the facts right. At any rate.
I mean,
I'm trying to say I don't like Titanic.
That love story was the one part of Titanic that none of us ever knew. I mean, obviously, that's why James Cameron went down to the Titanic so much and spent so much time down there so he could learn about Rose and Jack. Like 2 hours
Right.
of a movie just to focus on that.
Yeah.
You spent your entire life researching a boat and you came away with Rose and Jack.
Yeah, now some old bitch is telling you a story about how she got deep dicked on a boat. Fuck you. And then she had the diamond the whole time. Rose, even when she was 101 years old, is an old lying cunt. I don't know where the diamond is. I'm not really sure. So you stole it, and then you dumped it in the ocean. You stole, and then you hung on to that stolen booty forever, and then you dumped it down the ocean. You fucking bitch.
You know, she didn't need it. She met her new husband who had money. She didn't need to sell the diamond, so she just kind of kept it.
Yeah. Dario says, Aaron, did you and April argue about this? No, we actually kind of had a less funny version of this rant.
I feel like
April kind of
a lot of arguing and then a lot of very unfulfilling sex.
Yeah, and then after that, I fucked her really hard. She claims she didn't feel anything, but she's a liar. She's having fun. But we had a discussion about this driving back from the gym, I think, on Saturday before we went golfing. And she's like, her attitude towards it is, yeah, I know all that's true, but I just really like the movie. So, I mean, that's about that. I can respect that take.
Yeah, I know all of that's true, but I'm a chick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's pretty much where she's at with Titanic. Hung Solo says he left the diamond in the coat, then gave her the coat, her diamond. Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, fine. Let's say I give you that. She still threw it in the fucking ocean at the end of the movie when that would have made Bill Paxton very happy. It belongs.
Yeah, it makes throwing it worse.
Yeah, if anything, you should have found Billy Zane's surviving family members and given it to them.
Or at the very least, turn it over to Bill Paxton.
And then, remember the end of the movie when she talks about Billy Zane and she's like, oh yeah, crash at 29, and then he ate a gun. I'm like, he didn't deserve that. What did he do to deserve that? He was a decent enough guy, so he didn't treat you like a princess. He didn't He didn't use your depression to draw naked pictures of you and fuck you in a Model T. What a terrible guy. That doesn't mean he deserved to lose all his money and die. Jesus, what a spiteful bitch. Rose is a cunt. Changed my mind. Rose is a piece of shit. She was a vengeful, spiteful, mentally ill piece of dog shit. Thank you. Yeah. I see your Crowder, and I raise you a Crowder. Sparky Rose says Aaron is changing minds today with this take.
And ending relationships, because you know someone's going to go home. Honey, I listened to the radio today, and they agreed with me. Titanic is dog shit.
Oh, yeah, we're starting fights. If you guys don't go home and start fights over this, you're not a fan of mine. Those ain't real dudes, says depression. That's the real Spanish fly. Lemmy says, wasn't Bill Paxton trying to bang Rose's daughter? She could have given them that heart of the ocean, then they could have lived happily ever after. Yes, exactly. But look, I will have this argument until the end of time about Titanic, and I will never be right. I will never be vindicated, except in a small group of people who would probably be angry anyways, no matter what. I'm resigned to my fate in that regard. All right, thank you very much to Scarface with $5. He says, then the selfish whore threw the fucking necklace in the water at the end. Fucking selfish to the very end. I know, Rose is a cunt. And Billy Zane is not that bad of a guy. And Leo was an opportunistic asshole. And he's lucky he died, because that whole thing would have ended poorly for both of them. All right.
Spent all her money.
Yeah. I don't like it. Annoyed Wawa Supervisor says, Jack is an orphan from Chippewa Falls. Everything you need to know about him. Exactly. Isn't there that theory that Jack survived the Titanic and then became the Great Gatsby? That they're trying to keep the universes together? I know. I heard that one. You know what other fun movie theory I heard over the weekend? Donnie from The Big Lebowski is a figment of Walter's imagination. He's a buddy of his from Vietnam that he had a hard time accepting his death.
That would be interesting.
I need to go back and watch Lebowski and see if the dude ever really interacts with Donnie.
Yeah.
Because
then that's a whole nother. I never even paid attention to that. I didn't even consider it.
Yeah. Very interesting. Ro Jogan says April killed on Simpcast last night. Oh, thank you. Yeah, she did a great job. She was very, very good. Keanu was on there. Chrissy. It was a really good show. Guys, go and watch it. I know April enjoys doing it. Rose affected multiple family generational wealth with her poor decision-making, says Delco Lou. I agree. Cheeseburger Pie says, no offense, Aaron, but I'm not getting in any arguments over anything I hear on this show. Well, you got your own problems. I respect that. Lemmy says, Rose would have been rid of Billy Zane eventually. Did he K himself when the stock market crashed? Yeah, exactly. If anything, if Rose would have stayed with him, I'm getting very upset. If anything, I could do this for 4 hours. I need you to know that.
I don't know. I think you're going to lose it going. You're getting a little too worked up here.
No, let me with a great point. If Rose would have stayed with him, he might have had something to keep him going after the crash of 29, and he may not have K'd himself. Rose killed Billy Zane.
The diamond, and I realize now I'm wrong now that I'm thinking about it. She left the picture with the diamond saying the two things you love most, and it was her naked body and the diamond.
What a cunt.
And, yeah, but he put the diamond in the jacket and gave her the jacket, so she didn't steal the diamond, but she still kept it. And if he had had the diamond,
he wouldn't have K'd himself.
And her, the stock market crash wouldn't have been the end. In fact, it would have been the beginning of Billy Zane's amazing return of reestablishing himself in the ashes. He could have been a phoenix, but that bitch killed him.
She did. She's responsible for Billy Zane's death. And look, the guy wasn't the nicest boyfriend, but that doesn't mean he deserved to die. He saved a little girl on the Titanic, for God's sake. Did the unsinkable Molly Brown, did that fat bitch save any babies? I don't think so. Billy Zane saved an orphan.
She took up extra seats on the boat, and she could have floated by herself, and that whale had plenty of blubber. Would have been fine.
She could have been Japanese lamp oil. Look, the point is, Billy Zane saved an orphan. Rose killed one. Rose killed Jack. Billy Zane saved a fucking kid. She took his diamond, knew he was in trouble in 29, kept the fucking diamond while he blew his head off. You whore. I hate her. All right. Sorry. Anyway, what I'm trying to say, guys, is I'm trying to move on from this. I think I've been going for a good 45 minutes now. I think I can be done about this. Sean Warnicki says the dude does interact with Donnie, even attends his funeral services. Now, what I read about the funeral services thing, he could have just been indulging Walter's delusion. But I don't know. ISIS Macho Man says, Aaron changed my mind. Everyone on the Titanic were assholes. They all deserve to die. Now, wait a minute. I don't think I said that. Dario says, Aaron, didn't you lose your voice a few weeks back? It's back, isn't it? All right, guys. Kyle, yeah, here's another theory. Donnie becomes Garland Green in Con Air. He just snaps and becomes a serial killer. Yeah. Hobo Chili Recipe says, the old lady even admitted she never loved the man she married and had kids with. What a fucking bitch. Do you know how many people she psychologically destroyed throughout time?
She never loved the man she married and had kids with.
What a callous bitch. I can't stand her. Billy Zane had a great head of hair. I won't be told otherwise. Billy Zane was a good man. Bob Rivers says, if Rose doesn't leave Billy Zane, that kid dies. That's true. Rob Manugan says, Aaron's manic shouting about a shitty love story is hilarious. I know when I'm funny. I know when things are going well. I'm just looking through the chat real quick, and then we're going to move on.
Until someone triggers you again.
Mudda Trucker Gaming says, Aaron would have been much happier if the Titanic was loaded with veterans. Now, come on, we don't need to make a new movie. And I'm not the one who has problems coming. You don't need to get me off. Hulkamasha Baby says, new screenplay. Some guy telling mid-chicks they're pretty and leaving a path of destruction in his wake. Yes! Hobo Chili Recipe says,
Isn't that called Shallow Hal?
Rose was also responsible for the assassination of Franz Ferdinand and the Spanish flu. Probably. Cheeseburger Pie says, to be fair, none of those guys loved her either. I mean, she was a soulless ginger. The man raises a good point. Any more blistering Monday morning cinematic takes, says Triple N. I don't know. Throw me a popular movie. I'll wreck it. Dario says, odds Aaron will be able to broadcast tomorrow. I'm okay. I'm good. I'll be all right. What are we at number-wise here? 285 away from today's goal. Everybody hit like. Everybody hit subscribe. Everybody share this show. How is this not the most entertaining thing on in the morning? Stop it. 285 away. Guys, keep knocking that goal down. Let's get under 200 by the top of this hour. How does that sound? Under 200 by the top of the hour. So everybody with $5-10, throw it in. Streamlabs, PayPal, Super Chats, or PayPal, the best way to go. Super Chats, memberships, gifted memberships are awesome too. Riding Dirty Llama says Rose was just using Jack too, so it's all good. Yeah, she was an evil person. Terrible. Aaron, tell us your thoughts on the Spider-Verse. I will not even venture into it. It's too fucking confusing. One Spider-Man. Be done with it.
I mean, you know, I kind of like, you know, the three, because there's a kid's show that my daughter watches all the time. So I've been, you know, she really likes Spider-Gwen. So I can't hate the Spider-Verse because it'd crush her. So I gotta be cool with it.
You've gone soft. Soft. Billy Zane wouldn't save your daughter on the Titanic now because of her take on
Billy Zane wouldn't need to save my daughter. She'd have her Spider-Verse capability.
Bearded Trucker says Jenny from Forrest Gump was a money-grumbling whore too. Yes, but she suffered a fate for her treachery. She fucking rotted away from Hep C. Good. Everyone says it's AIDS. The director said it was Hep that she died from.
Either way,
yeah.
The point is, when she knew it was over, she decided she would F the rich retarded guy.
No, technically, she had a kid with the rich retarded guy before she knew she was going to die. So that part, she's technically kind of safe. She pity fucked the tard, had the kid, then she got Hep, then she rotted away to nothing. But before that, she made sure she brought the kid back to the married guy before she died of Hep C. So she did right by the kid.
Right.
Jenny's a better person than Kate Winslet in fucking Titanic. Jenny is better than Rose. Jenny is better than Rose. Clip it. Are we good now? I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're
285 away from today's goal. Let's knock that out. So anyway, Ocean Gate, as I was saying 45 minutes ago. Very fascinating. Goes down to see Titanic, powered by a Logitech game controller. By the way, if anybody can confirm this is real, I saw something on the
there's
internet.
A tweet that someone sent to me too.
Yeah.
That the controller survived.
The controller survived the implosion. Now, I don't believe this because the implosion, they say the heat would have been the heat of the sun.
Right.
So I think everything was incinerated, but they did find the tail cone, so there is that. Here, game controller Titan.
There were 3 of them on there though, so one, if it doesn't necessarily mean it was the one they were using. It could have been somewhere else that
could have been a Logitech game controller that they used on the Titanic.
Right.
It could have been one of those. We don't know. Titan Submersible Tragedy puts spotlight on gaming. What? Fuck you. What are you talking about?
Guys, we need to tie ourselves to this somehow, and we never leave our house.
Yeah.
There was a game controller. Yes, we're finally in one.
So I don't think they actually found it. I think that's fake, but it would be just like the biggest slap in the face if like they looked at the bottom of the ocean like, hey, look, the gaming controller. And like, oh, fuck you. So apparently they never really tested this thing, or they tested the thing, but like the equipment they used, a lot of people are saying that it shouldn't have been cleared to go past like 2,000 feet. Like it shouldn't even have been a half mile down in the ocean, let alone 2.5 miles down the ocean. But you're not going to stop that guy.
Even before the implosion part, there was a string of people that are like, I came out and said that the hull thickness wasn't, that it was 2 inches too thin and it needed to be at least 2 inches thicker and this, that, and the other. And the people either got let go when they kept listing complaints, or they left because they were listing complaints and problems and they were getting ignored. And they're like, you know what? I'm not going to be tied to this. And they bailed.
Well, you might be talking about their director, OceanGate's director of marine operations was fired in 2018 after he warned that the carbon fiber hull of its submarine was not safe and might implode. Now, remember, Rush Stockman, or whatever the fuck the CEO's name was, his famous quote was, he didn't want to hire a bunch of boring 50-year-old white guys. Right. If I may, it was the boring 50-year-old white guys who warned him that this thing was a piece of shit and it shouldn't be going down to the ocean floor. And if you would have listened to those boring 50-year-old white guys, all those people might still be alive. Like that famous French explorer, the Middle Eastern guy and his son. Did you see the thing where the guy's son didn't even want to go? He got guilted into it as a Father's Day gift?
Yeah. He did not want to go. He was terrified that something might go wrong, according to his aunt.
Yeah.
And guess what?
I mean,
isn't it ironic?
It's that submersible ride that you didn't want to take. And who would have thought it imploded? Oh. Fucking kid doesn't want to go on the submersible, and then it blows up. And as the submersible imploded, he thought, well, isn't that nice? So apparently the Stockman Rush was firing all his 50-year-old white guys who were telling him that this is a horseshit idea. Because you know who doesn't tell the multimillionaire CEO that his plans are full of shit? The 20-year-olds who are just lucky to have a job.
Yep.
They don't tell you that your submersible's a piece of shit. You know who does? Fucking James Cameron. He goes, hey, look, I made Kate Winslet's heel character one of the most unlikable people of all time. I know a thing or two about deception, and this is a ruse.
I was the first person to convince Kate Winslet to do a nude scene.
I took good guy Billy Zane and made him look like a bad guy and sold that to a bunch of gals. Now,
and I did it in 2 hours.
And I did, 5 or 6. How fucking long?
Well, no, the movie was 2 hours.
Yeah. They fired a literal 50-year-old white man for telling them what was wrong with their submarine and why it was going to kill people. They told him he was an idiot and didn't have the academic qualifications of the engineers who said that the Titan was safe. And again, the offense he was fired for was telling them that this thing's a piece of shit and it's not going to work. And by the way, James Cameron said, a lot of us in the submersible community took one look at this thing and we went, this is horseshit. This is bad. Don't do it. And he told all those people to go fuck themselves. They didn't know what they were talking about.
And it sounds like he went down in this thing more than once to the Titanic, because this wasn't the first trip.
Right.
So if this thing wasn't rated to do that and it's done it multiple times, I'm betting there were micro fractures from the stress of it and everything, where it was just like, eventually you were going to push it where going down there just wasn't going to come back. And it ended up being this trip. You weren't going to make it back.
Right. What's the movie where the guy steps on the old French mine? Tropic Thunder, where Steve Coogan steps on the mine and he looks down because he hears the click and he goes, huh, what's that? And then boom, it blows up all over the place. I imagine that being the entire crew of the ship. They just hear a crack and they're like, huh? And then boom, over. 30 milliseconds.
Actually, I could be wrong about this, but I'd heard they had dropped weight and were attempting to like come back up when everything was happening. So I personally, I'm worried like they heard like the weird metal creaky noises of like the micro fractures moving across the hull of the thing. And then like maybe a sensor or something going off warning them that like the integrity of this thing isn't going good. Like it's time to bail. So it's like, oh guys, we got to go back up to the surface. Don't worry. Everything's going to be.
Yeah. The actual act of it was so quick that nobody would have known anything, but it's like when I fell asleep from my, tooth extraction, and then it feels like I closed my eyes and opened them again, but then all of a sudden I'm going, what's going on with my mouth? Except they don't wake up. I woke up from my tooth thing. Spoiler alert.
I'd like to think right before he died, he said, "I fucking hate you, Dad." And then
Dad, you can suck my... David Lockridge was terminated in January 2018 after presenting a scathing quality control report. Isn't it interesting? Even if you fire the guy for saying shit you don't like, don't you at least spend the next 5 years trying to fix the shit he told you about?
Or at the very least, consider what he told you. I mean, look into what he said.
Right.
Just on a whole covering your ass so he doesn't get an "I told you so" moment.
Yeah,
Like this one.
This guy gets a great "I told you so." According to a court filing by Lockridge, the preamble to his report read, "Now is the time to properly address items that may pose a safety risk to personnel. Verbal communication of the key items I have addressed in my attached document have been dismissed on several occasions. So I feel now I must make this report so there is an official record in place." So he's verbally told these people, like, look, a carbon fiber hull this thing ain't going to hold up under the pressure. This is going to be bad news.
Especially, again, the thing was 2 inches thicker than it was supposed to be, or 2 inches thinner than it was supposed to be.
And
it's supposed to be 7, and they got 5.
Yeah, well, that's April's sex life. So then you have that, and then these people were telling him, like, no, you're full of shit. What are you talking about? He's like, well, fine. You know what? I'm putting it in writing, so at least I can say that I tried to warn you people. He saw visible flaws in the carbon fiber supplied to OceanGate, raising the risk of small flaws expanding into larger tears during pressure cycling. These are the huge pressure changes that the submersible would experience as it made its way to and from the deep ocean floor. He noted that a previously tested scale model of the hull had, quote, prevalent flaws. Now, Lockridge, however, worried in the lawsuit that the system would not reveal flaws until the vessel was descending, and then might only provide milliseconds of warning before a catastrophic implosion. Well, spoiler alert.
That's what happened.
I hate to say I told her so, but I told her so. I mean, that guy gets the least satisfying "I told you so" in history. Oh, boy. Well, it's like I said, it's just really good that CEO didn't want any boring 50-year-old white guys fucking up his... Now you know why he didn't want any boring 50-year-old white guys. They were all raining on his parade. All the 50-year-old white guys were telling him this ain't going to work. And then he was like, shut the fuck up. I want to go down and see the big boat. I want to see big boat. You're going to kill people. No. I believe that was his scientific response.
Want to do ocean floor exploration.
Dub, thank you for gifting a membership to Ryobi. Appreciate that. We are a listener-supported show, so all of your contributions go towards knocking out today's goal, and we'll do a half hour of overtime if you nail it. 285 away. Let's knock that out and make sure that this show can stay on the air. If you feel like contributing, PayPal's the best way to do it, but Super Chats and memberships are great too. Let's keep going. We got 30 minutes until we're halfway through, so let's try to get to 200 by that time. What do you say? 85 away from that number. So they fire that guy, and then we also found out this weekend that Mr. Beast was invited on the Titan submersible. Now, anyone who responds to this with, "Oh, I wish he would have said yes," it's kind of a dick. Like, my 6-year-old watches Mr. Beast before he goes to bed. I've watched Mr. Beast. He's fine. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with Mr. Beast. He does fun, stupid little challenges. I think they're good. I've been entertained for a few minutes by a couple of them. I don't understand the hate for this guy, especially when he gives people their eyeballs back. Like, he takes poor rotting blind people and he gives them their eyeballs back. And then people go, "Yeah, what a piece of shit." And it's like, what? Why?
He's making, what is it? Cripple porn, or what did they call it?
Yeah, they said something. Yeah, I don't remember what it's called, but
compassion porn.
Compassion porn. Shit. That's what it is. Which is an absolute horseshit phrase, because compassion porn is just called showing yourself helping people. Which, again, taking his own money, spending it on, getting people their eyeballs back or getting people their hearing back. And then people get pissed off at him that he's advertising it. Well, the guy's trying to recoup some of his money from helping these people see again. And then he does wacky.
Do they realize he didn't start out super wealthy, that he like made himself famous and wealthy as an internet personality?
Yeah.
And as opposed to almost all of us who'd be like, and I'm rich and I'm done. Like moving away. He's like, and now I'm going to take this money and do stuff with it, but I'm going to promote the stuff I do so that way I get more money to continue doing the stuff.
Yeah. I don't understand the Mr. Beast hate. He seems like a decent enough fella. But the star, who has over 160 million subscribers on YouTube, claims he was invited to be on the doomed Titan submersible that imploded, but he declined. I was invited earlier this month to ride the Titanic submarine. I said no, Mr. Beast wrote. Kind of scary that I could have been on it. And now watch, people will go, yeah, just making it about himself, fucking Mr. Beast. I think if you got a problem with Mr. Beast, I think you got problems with yourself that you probably need to figure out, because he just doesn't seem like a guy worth hating. The 25-year-old online sensation. And by the way, that's where most of the hate comes from. He's young and remarkably wealthy.
And remarkably popular on the internet.
Known for his over-the-top stunts and challenges, also shared a cropped image of what appears to be a text message inviting him on the trip. He said also, I'm going to the Titanic in a submarine late this month. The team would be stoked to have you along, part of the invitation said. He had he agreed to the underwater expedition, Mr. Beast would have joined an already eclectic group of adventurers. We all know who was on there by now. Mr. Beast is the most subscribed to personality on YouTube. His net worth is estimated to be $500 million. Attaboy. The group descended towards the depths. We know what happened, so on and so forth. I mean, smart of Mr. Beast to say no. I mean, I hope that these people just had the, like, people around them who look into this shit and just go, dude, no. Even if the celebrity was like, oh, man, I really want to go. Oh, man, that sounds awesome. I just hope you have people around you, like, not even knowing the physics of the submersible, but they're just like, dude, I can't have you going that far deep in the ocean. I can't have you go into something that dangerous. It's just not a good move. No reason.
Parts of that sub came from an RV repair shop. Like, I just feel like, no, man, it doesn't look good. Hey, man, this is a state-of-the-art sub. They're steering it with a Logitech controller.
Yeah.
State-of-the-art, my ass.
I saw Stockton Rush picking an alternator off a Pontiac Bonneville. It was, I don't know if you're going to want to be on this thing, Mr. Beast. It's, maybe we'll do some kind of challenge, and we'll give some of the proceeds to the families of the submersible, but I don't know.
They were on the way down, and the French guy had to go, hey, shitter's busted.
Oh, no. You're shitting in a little cribbage peg hole to begin with. Mike Erb says, what amazes me most is that they paid to go on the sub. There is no amount of money that would get me to go even 100 feet down in that sub. 100? Well, yeah, I mean, I would take all kinds of money to go 100 feet down. You put me in scuba gear for the right amount of money, I'll go 100 feet. You can't hurt yourself at 100 feet, can you?
Well, the sharks can.
Well, yes, the shark. Oh, God, that's terrifying. I just got the feeling of a shark seeing you 100 feet down.
Hi, April. How you doing?
And then it eats your fucking head. Oh, my God. You think April's unsatisfied getting eaten now. Wait till it's a shark. Oh, my God.